Hello everyone, welcome to the Daily Current Affairs Analysis brought to you by Shankar IAS Academy, 10th March 2026. Before getting into the discussion, please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you haven't, please do subscribe and also hit the bell icon to receive on-time updates from the Academy. Before moving to the topics for today's discussion, we have an important announcement. It is regarding the UPSC pre-storming prelims trust series. The batch 6 will be starting on 10th March 2026. Link for the registration will be available on the website. Do register and crack the prelims this year. And coming to the topics for today's discussion, the first topic is Terminal High Altitude Area Defense, or shortly known as THAAD. So it's an anti-ballistic missile system of United States of America. And the next article is Climate Change and Gender Vulnerability. So this article is talking about how the climate change is impacting the lives and the rights of the women. And the next article, Department for Empowerment of People with a Disability and Breakout session. So Department for Empowerment of People with a Disability. So this department is working under the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. So now they are planning to host a breakout session to raise awareness regarding two major initiatives brought by the government for the empowerment of people with a disability. And the next article is a mains article. It is about the recent State of India's Environment Report published by the Center for Science and Environment. And finally, we will be discussing the prelims focus for the day. So if all set, let's begin the discussion with the first article. So coming to the first article, THAAD. Hit to kill. The article is taken from The Hindu. So the full form is Terminal High Altitude Area Defense, a crucial component of the American air defense system. And why we are discussing THAAD now? Because we can see that as per the recent report from this article, the American administration had already increased their THAAD batteries before attacking the Iran on 28th Feb 2026. So in this background, let us discuss more about the THAAD. So THAAD, the full form is Terminal High Altitude Area Defense, and it was developed by the United States Missile Defense Agency, and the purpose is to intercept the ballistic missile during their terminal phase, that is the final stage of their flight. So if you take the path of the ballistic missile, it will be like this, right? So this is the place of launch and this is a target. So once it is launched, it will go to high altitude, and from there, using the earth gravity, it will destroy the target. So this is how the ballistic missiles will be working, and this THAAD system is capable of intercepting and destroying the ballistic missile at this phase, that is the terminal phase. And it is designed to intercept a short range ballistic missile, medium range ballistic missile, and also limited intermediate range ballistic missile. It is not capable of dealing with or intercepting the intercontinental ballistic missile. So these are the areas we have to note. So if there is a statement in the UPSC prelims that the THAAD system can intercept the intercontinental ballistic missile, then the statement will be incorrect. And what are the major features of this THAAD? It has two major features. First, it will offer multi-layer or two-layer air defense. So it can destroy or it can intercept the ballistic missile both within as well as outside the Earth atmosphere. So it will offer two-layer or multi-layer air defense. And next is the hit-to-kill technology. So unlike other interceptors, this interceptor is not using, this THAAD system is not using any explosive. Instead, it is using kinetic energy impact to destroy the incoming threat. So the THAAD system is using kinetic energy impact to destroy the incoming threat. It is not carrying any warhead or any explosive, and the interception range is between 150 to 200 kilometers. So this is a representation how the THAAD system will be working. So THAAD, anti-ballistic missile system. So the major components are radar system. So it is using an X-band radar to detect the incoming threat. And the next component is the fire control and communication system, which is also known as the brain, of the system. So this system will be coordinating the operation. And the next component is the launcher, mobile launcher. So the this launcher is capable of carrying, one launcher is capable of carrying up 8 interceptors. And this is the interceptor. So this is the length of the interceptor is approximately 6.2 meters, that is around 20 feet, and the weight is around 662 kg. So this is how the interceptor will intercept the incoming ballistic missile. Not this. This THAAD system is not capable of dealing with the intercontinental ballistic missiles. And talking about the THAAD components in detail, so interceptor missile, it's a major component capable of destroying the incoming missile using direct collision. And what is the principle? It is using kinetic energy impact. It is not carrying any warhead or explosive. So this is a major thing we have to note here. And the next is the truck mounted launcher for better mobility. So we can move the THAAD system from one region to another region for better air defense. And next, it is using ANTPY2 radar. So it's a high resolution X-band radar for better detection of the incoming threat. And the next component is the brain of the system, that is fire control and communication system to coordinate the operation. And finally, logistics support system. So these are the major component of the THAAD system. We discussed already here using the picture. And to handle a THAAD battery, that means to handle a THAAD unit, we typically need around 90 defense personnel, 6 launchers. So 6 launchers means each launcher can carry 8 interceptor. That means a unit, a THAAD battery will have 48 interceptors. And like I mentioned, each launcher will be carrying 8 interceptors. And talking about the major defense systems in the world, so these are another area we can expect question in the UPSC prelims. So we know that Iron Dome we are frequently seeing in the news, right? It belongs to Israel, so it is capable of short range missile interception. And next, Israel's another defense system, that is Arrow 2 and Arrow 3. So it is for ballistic missile defense. And next, the Russia's S-400 Triumph. So we have purchased Russia's S-400 Triumph air defense system, and we can see that it is a long range air defense system. And next, Aegis ballistic missile defense. So it is developed by, this system is developed by USA and Japan. So it is a ship based missile defense system. And next, for US, they have the Patriot PAC-3, and it is a tactical missile interceptor. And for India, we have Prithvi air defense system and the advanced air defense system. So this Prithvi air defense system can destroy the incoming threat, or they can intercept the incoming threat in the outer atmosphere, that is in the exoatmosphere. And this advanced air defense system can intercept the incoming threat within the atmosphere, that is the endoatmosphere. So this two, there is a Prithvi air defense system and the advanced air defense system will ensure multi-layer air defense for India. And this is developed by DRDO. And now we have a prelims practice question. So actually it is a PYQ taken from 2018 UPSC prelims. The question is, what is terminal high altitude area defense, sometimes seen in the news? Option A, an Israeli radar system. Option B, India's indigenous anti-missile program. And option C, an American anti-missile system. And option D, an advanced, a defense collaboration between Japan and South Korea. So from our discussion, we can easily answer the question, that is option C, an American anti-missile system. And now we have a practice question. The question is, consider the following statements regarding the THAAD system. Statement 1, THAAD intercepts ballistic missile using explosive warhead. No, it is using kinetic energy impact. So we can eliminate statement 1. So the correct answer will be option A, 2 and 3 only. So the ANTPY2 radar is a key component used for detecting the missile. Yes, it is an X-band radar used for detecting the incoming threat. And statement 3, THAAD is designed to intercept a missile during the terminal phase of flight. Yes, it will intercept the ballistic missile during the last phase of the flight. So the statement 3 and the statement 2 are correct, while the statement 1 is incorrect. So the correct answer will be option A, 2 and 3 only. Let's check. Yes, with this we will move to the next article. So coming to the second article, climate change hits women hardest, funding support inadequate. United Nations Global Compact Network India. The article is taken from The Hindu. So in the background of this year's International Women's Day, we have done 2 articles. The first article was talking about how the rights and lives of women are affected because of war. And the second article was about the women farmers. And remember, the year 2026 is declared as the International Year of Women Farmers by which organization? Food and Agriculture Organization. So Food and Agriculture Organization declared the year 2026 as the International Year of Women Farmers, and the 2026 is also International Year of Grassland and Rangeland. And now we have a third article which is talking about how the climate change is affecting the life and rights of women. So according to the UN Women 2025 report, we can see that 158.3 million additional women and girls may fall into extreme poverty by 2050 because of the climate change. And what are the major reasons behind this higher vulnerability among the women community? The first major reason is the greater dependence on natural resources and agriculture. So we know that because of the rural-urban migration, the men are leaving the rural area and the women are taking care of the natural resources and agricultural management. So if the climate change happens, if it accelerates, then these 2 areas will be affected, and this will affect the livelihood of the family, including the women. And the second is, even though they are managing the agriculture, the women has only limited accessibility to land ownership, credit facility, and also technology. And now they have to face double burden or increased burden, because they have to spend time and energy in the management of natural resources and agriculture, and at the same time they have to spend time and energy on unpaid household work, which is unpaid and also uncounted. And the next is the higher exposure during climate disasters. So we can see that if you take states like Gujarat and Rajasthan, there the women are responsible for bringing water from distant rivers and lakes. So during the time of the heat wave and cold wave, the health of the women will be at the high risk comparing with men because of the heat wave and cold wave. So this is how the climate change, making the women community more vulnerable than men. And talking about the funding gap in gender climate action. So according to the observation of the United Nations Global Compact Network India. So what is this United Nations Global Compact Network India? So it's a wing of the United Nations Global Compact. So what is this United Nations Global Compact? See, this United Nations Global Compact is not a governing body. It is a pact. It is a pact signed in the year 2000. It is a pact signed in the year 2000 to bring corporate sustainability, responsible business practices, and also for better implementation of sustainable development goals. So it is not a governing body. It is a pact signed in the year 2000 to bring sustainable practices in the corporate world as well as in the business, and also for better implementation of the sustainable development goals. So according to them, that is according to the Indian wing of the UN GC, we can see that only 10% of the required funding reaches the program that supports women who are affected by climate change. That means remaining 90% of the fund is either remaining underutilized or going somewhere which is uncounted. And a major challenge. So we can see that we have funding. So for example, we have climate finance, we have adaptation projects, we have disaster risk reduction projects and plans from the national to regional level, from international to regional level. But the problem is that these plans are not giving adequate consideration to gender. And the next major issue highlighted by the network is that we have, as a part of countering the climate change, or as a part of fighting the climate change, we are making a shift towards renewable source of energy as well as renewable sector. But the problem is that this renewable energy or the renewable sector may provide employment opportunities and various opportunities to women. But there are certain problems faced by the women community that includes accessibility to proper healthcare, sanitation, limited sanitation facilities, and also limited safe working conditions. So this will discourage the participation of women in the renewable sector. And talking about the international frameworks and institutions, so we already discussed what is the UN Global Compact. So now we will move to the sustainable development goals. So this was adopted by the UN in 2015. So we are planning to achieve a sustainable world by 2030 under the 2030 agenda. And we have goal number 5, which is talking about gender equality, and goal number 13, which is talking about the climate action. And global initiatives linking gender and climate. So what are the global initiatives? We have the Gender Action Plan, which was launched by the United Nations Framework Convention in the COP23 in 2017. So this was launched by the UNFCCC in COP23 in 2017, and that aims for the the integration of women in the climate policies. And next we have an NGO, that is a Women's Environment and Development Organization, which is aiming for women-led climate justice. And next we have a program of UN Women, that is a UN Women Climate Resilience Program, which aims for strengthening the adaptive capacity of women to combat the climate change. And next we have another initiative launched by the UN Women, that is the Generation Equality Forum, which aims for the acceleration of gender equality commitments in the climate justice and in the climate policies. And talking about the role of technology, so we can see that this emergence of the artificial intelligence will give a lot of opportunities, to various communities, including the women. So this will improve the education, economic opportunities for women, and also it will provide early, facilities like early warning system as well as climate data. But the problem is the digital bias. So this artificial intelligence may have a bias, so that may disrupt the data, and at the same time, there are possibility for discrimination. Such issues are there. And at the same time, digital gender divide within the rural area. So we have witnessed this digital gender divide during the time of COVID. So we can see that during the time of COVID, the vaccination was registered through online platform. And we can see that the registration from the rural area comparing with the urban area was very less. And within this rural area, the registration done by women was very less comparing with men. So that is highlighting the challenge, that is the gender digital gender divide. And now we have a prelims practice question. The question is, consider the following statements. Statement 1, Sustainable Development Goal 5 focuses on achieving gender equality and empowering women and girls. Statement 2, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change Gender Action Plan aims to integrate gender considerations into climate policy. Statement 3, United Nations Global Compact Network India is a global governing body of the United Nations. No, I already mentioned that it is not a governing body. It is a pact. So the correct answer will be option C, 1 and 2 only. Yes. With this, we will move to the next article. So coming to the next article, Department of Empowerment of Persons with a Disability to host a breakout session during post-budget webinar on Divyangjan Kaushal Yojana and Divyangjan Yojana Sahara. So what is the news? So the article is taken from PIB. So what is the news? The Department of Empowerment of Persons with a Disability will host a breakout session in the post-budget webinar 2026-27 series. So what is mean by breakout session? Small sessions, or specialized sessions. So now the Department of Empowerment of Persons with a Disability, which is working under the Ministry of Social Justice, will organize a breakout session to raise awareness about the two major initiatives, that is the Divyangjan Kaushal Yojana and Divyangjan Yojana Sahara. So this event will be addressed by Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, and we can see that the theme is Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. That means fulfilling the aspirations of the people. So the major focus areas are inclusion, accessibility, economic empowerment of the persons with a disability. So talking about the nodal department, so we can see that the department which is organizing the event is the Department of Empowerment of Persons with a Disability, working under the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, and other ministries collaborating in this breakout sessions are Ministry of Health and Family Welfare and also the Department of Higher Education. Talking about Divyangjan Kaushal Yojana. So the term Divyangjan, so it was it was introduced in the year 2015 to replace the word Viklang. So this term will give more respect and dignity to the people who are living with a disability or to the differently abled people. So the Divyangjan Kaushal Yojana. So the objective is skill development and employment for Divyangjan. And the major components of this initiative are vocational training, industry-linked skill program, and entrepreneurship support, and also capacity building through skill training and other supports. And the next initiative is the Divyangjan Sahara Yojana. So the objective is social and economic support for persons with a disability. And the focus areas are welfare assistance, rehabilitation support, accessibility service, and a community-based support system. So the principle behind is welfare to empowerment. So that means we are not just focusing on the welfare, we are focusing on the empowerment of the people with a disability. That is the objective of Divyangjan Sahara Yojana. And coming to the prelims practice question, the question is, consider the following statements. Statement 1, the Department of Empowerment of Persons with a Disability functions under the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. Yes. Statement 2, the Rights of Persons with a Disability Act of 2016 recognizes 21 categories of disabilities. Yes, that is also correct. Statement 3, the assistance to disabled persons for purchase or fitting of aids and appliances scheme provides assistive devices to persons with disabilities. Yes, that statement is also correct. So the correct answer is option D, 1, 2, and 3. So this is coming under the Divyangjan. This initiative is coming under the Divyangjan Sahara Yojana, which is aiming for economic as well as social support to the people living with a disability. Let's check the answer. Yes, with this we will move to the next article. So coming to the fourth article, what is the state of environment in India? The article is taken from The Hindu. So recently the Center for Science and Environment released the State of India's Environment Report 2026. So it's an annual publication of the center since 1982. And what is this report? It is a comprehensive assessment of environmental challenges in India. So what are the key areas of focus? Climate change impact, extreme weather events, flood risk, wildlife human conflict, and also air pollution governance. So what are the facts we have to remember? This report is released by the Center for Science and Environment. It is an annual publication publishing since 1982, and it is a comprehensive assessment of environmental challenges faced by India. So what are the key findings? First major finding is the rising extreme weather events in India. So if you take the case of 2025, nearly 99% of the days in that year experienced the extreme weather events, and nearly 4,419 people lost their life because of the extreme weather events, and nearly 17.41 million hectares of agriculture crop was affected because of the extreme weather events. And if you compare this data with the previous years, we can see that in 2023, 89% of the days recorded extreme weather events, 3,200 plus people lost their life, and 2.09 million hectares of crops was affected. And in 2024, the number of days got reduced to 88%, but the death rate got increased to 3,393, and the area of crop affected got increased to 3.61 million hectares. And in 2025, we can see that 99% of the days recorded extreme weather events. 4,491 people lost their life because of extreme weather events, and 17.41 million hectares of crops was affected because of the extreme weather events. That means in 2024 it was just 3 million hectares, but in 2025 it got increased to 17 million. That means a rise of nearly 6 times. So this is raising severe concern about the food security. And the most affected states are Himachal Pradesh, Kerala, and Madhya Pradesh. And we can see that the report highlighted that the India is experiencing frequent extreme weather events. In 2023, the World Meteorological Organization released the State of Climate Report Asia. That report also highlighted the same issue. That means the Asia is becoming more vulnerable to extreme weather events, particularly the Indian subcontinent. So now this report is also highlighting the same case. And the next finding is about the flood risk and climate change. So this report highlighted a concern, that is concern about the rising large scale flooding in India. So the report also recommends a change in our approach towards the flood management. So we can see that currently India is largely focusing on post flood or the post disaster relief, but this report is suggesting us to move towards pre-disaster resilience and climate adaptation based on nature-based solutions. So what are the recommendations given by the report? Wetland restoration, connecting rivers with the floodplain, groundwater recharge, rainwater harvesting, and restoration of lakes. And the next finding is about the human-wildlife conflict, particularly the conflict between human and tiger. So we can see that between January and June 2025, nearly 43 people lost their life because of tiger attack. The case of 2024 was also similar. And the major causes of this increasing human tiger conflicts are loss of tiger habitat, expansion of human settlement, encroachment by the human settlements, and at the same time, when human enters into a particular region, definitely the ecology will experience certain imbalance. So the loss of natural prey base, all this will lead to human wildlife, particularly the human tiger conflict. And we can see that in 20 tiger bearing states, 40% of the tiger territory overlaps with the human settlements. So 40% of the tiger territory is overlapping with the human settlements. That means it is highlighting the risk of human-tiger conflict. And nearly 60 million people in India are living near the tiger habitat. And the next finding is about the air pollution monitoring gap. So according to the State of India's Environment Report, only 15% of India's population is living within 10 kilometers of a continuous air quality monitoring station. That means remaining 1.2 billion population is living outside the monitoring network. So we have no idea what type of air they are breathing, how much clean is their air. So we have no idea about that. And we can see that the report is also highlighting structural problems in our policy framework to manage the air quality. So we can see that even today, the policies are mainly focusing on metro cities and the capitals, state capitals, leaving behind the small towns and peri-urban area and the industrial belt. So this will create an environmental inequality because of these type of policy response. And we have this National Clean Air Program, which aims to reduce the presence of particulate matter 2.5 and particulate matter 10 by 20 to 30% between 2017 and 2024. And we have a mains practice question. The question is, climate change impact in India are increasingly visible through extreme weather events, ecological stress, and environmental governance challenges. Discuss key environmental concerns highlighted in the recent environmental assessments, and suggest the measures to improve climate resilience in India. So it's a 15 marks question and you have to write around 250 words. Write the answer, post it in the comment section. We will review and we will reply for your answer. Now it's time to move to the prelims focus for the day. So coming to the prelims focus for the day, the first topic is jacanas. So these are aquatic birds seen in the marshy regions of tropical areas. And the most unique feature is the long toe and long claws. So they have a long toes which will support them to walk in the floating vegetation. And some of them have, some species has claws which will be used by this bird to protect themselves against the enemy. And talking about other features, so we can see that this bird belongs to a matriarchal social life. That means the female will be having authority. She will be defending their territory from the enemies. She will be protecting the male members and the children, and also she will be having multiple partners. So this bird comes from a matriarchal social setup. And the next topic is Jal Mahotsav 2026. So it's a nationwide campaign organized by the Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation, working under the Ministry of Jal Shakti. And the campaign will be held from 8th March to 22nd March. And the objective is strengthening the community participation in the rural water management, as well as promoting the water conservation under the Jal Jeevan Mission. And the next topic is Padayatra. So recently the Padayatra was organized in 30 plus locations in India, and thousands of people participated in this. So this was organized under the Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana. So the objective of this Padayatra is raising awareness about the affordable, quality generic medicines available in India through the Jan Aushadhi Kendras. So there we can get medicines at a discount of 50 to 80%. And coming to the prelims practice question, the question is with reference to jacana, consider the following statements. Statement 1, jacanas possess exceptionally long toes and claws that help them to walk on floating aquatic vegetation. Yes. And statement 2, in many species of jacanas, males are larger and more territorial than female. No, males are smaller than female. So the statement 2 is incorrect, while the statement 1 is correct. So the correct answer will be option A, 1 only. Let's check. Yes. With this, we are coming to the conclusion for today's prelims focus. With this, we are coming to the conclusion for today's current affair analysis. If you like the video, hit the like button, give your feedbacks as comments, and share this content with your friends. And before leaving this channel, don't forget to subscribe and also hit the bell icon to receive on-time updates from the academy. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for listening to me. Have a nice day.